Hey again, I'm Rahina, and we are playing more of Gakuen Heaven 2. This will be the last video of Professor Sakaki's character route, so I hope you'll enjoy it. We'll continue from here. So the last video ended with Sakaki taking Yuki off the school island to go eat. He's going to take him to his friend's restaurant, actually. And so that means they will have to go by car. And they will be going in Sakaki's car, which Yuki is saying here, oh, it's a cool car. So we've got a scene change. We're in the car now. I'll let you take a look here. And actually what I'm going to do is let you take a look not just at Sakaki and Yuki, who are positioned very cutely here, but if you take a look at the control panel of the car here, you can actually identify this car quite easily, and I will show you. If you take a look here, this is actually modeled on a real car, and contrary to what Yuki said earlier, it is not a cool car. This is a Prius. So you can look at the picture here that I've put up here. I'm not sure if this is the one that says on the little display or not, but if you do a search for, I think it's like a 2010 to 2014 Prius, will get you an interior that's very similar. I don't think they changed much between those model years. But that is the car that the professor drives. You can tell if you look closely at the control panel in the center here and compare it to the control panel of the car in the CG, it's very obvious that this was the model for his car here. And here's a different view if that helps out. You can really tell from comparing the two, especially if you look at it at this video in a full screen or just kind of in that theater mode, which makes it a little bigger. It's very clearly modeled on the Prius. So a little interesting bit of trivia for you. Now you know what kind of car Professor Sakaki drives. And actually I think it's a bit of an interesting point too, because he's from an extremely wealthy family, but he drives a pretty average car. It's not a very expensive car. It's, it's nice, but it's not insanely expensive. And it's actually an extremely common car over in Japan. I believe it may actually be the best-selling car over there, or at least it has been in the past. So it's a very common car and something, reasonable, as opposed to something extravagant. So to me that suggests that he's pretty practical. He doesn't spend a lot of money on unnecessary things. There's no need to impress anyone. Just because of his name or whatever. And another thing it kind of makes me think too is maybe he really is working to provide for himself and is not getting some sort of like ridiculous amount of money from his family. So I mean that's obviously reading stuff into it, and nobody knows for sure what it actually means, but to me it seems like he could conceivably drive something a lot more extravagant and has chosen not to, for whatever reason. But don't try to tell us that this is a cool car, guys, because it's really not. I mean, it's a nice car. Anyway. So now we have the two of them in the car together, and Yuki says, this is kind of amazing. What is? Well, the two of us are going out to eat in your car, right? It's kind of like a stereotypical date, isn't it? A date. Oh, I just thought it seemed like it. What are you saying? This is a proper date. Huh? That's what I was thinking. Were you not? Weren't you displaying your good luck because you wanted to go on a date with me? Huh? No, I wasn't. I didn't mean to. Well, it's true that it would be nice if it happened, I thought. I'll do my best for that, is what I was thinking, though.
ああ、そうですね。俺、先生とデートしたかったみたいです。
Oh, it's true. I wanted to go on a date with you, it seems. So I just love that little part there, how Yuki is just so... I don't even know what the word is, but he didn't even figure it out himself until he thought about it. So, you know, not only does his luck just kind of work on whatever he is unconsciously thinking, but he has to think out loud to kind of reach the conclusion. And he does that so much throughout the entire game. But it's just cute to see it every time, because he's just, I don't know, he's a cute kid.
そうか。俺も一番がお前でよかった。
I see you. I'm glad that you were the best too.
他のやつとのデートは俺もごめんだからな。
I would be sorry to go on a date with someone else.
なんだ、急に気持ちの悪い笑いをして。
What's with that creepy laugh all of a sudden?
だって、俺嬉しくて。
It's just, I'm happy.
先生にそんなこと言われたら嬉しくて。
When you say that, it makes me happy.
だって、榊先生は先生で、男性で、すごく大人で。
Well, Professor Sakaki, you're a teacher and a man and really adult.
だから、そういう人と、俺とデートとか、なんかすごいっていうか。
And that's why that someone like you would go on a date with me is kind of amazing.
あ、ダメだ。俺、顔がにやけちゃいます。
It's no good. I just break into a smile.
そうか。そんなに嬉しいのか。
I see. So you're that happy.
はい。すごく嬉しいです。
Yes, I'm really happy. And he's just so honest. He'll just answer every question honestly without even attempting to deny it.
そうか。
I see.
そういう榊先生だって笑ってるじゃないですか。
But even you're smiling, aren't you?
そうだな。おかしいな。
That's right. It's funny.
お前のにやけ顔を見ているとそんな気分になる。
When I see you grinning, it puts me in that sort of mood.
そんな気分って？
That sort of mood?
自分を隠そうとも飾ろうともしないお前を見ているとな。
When I look at you and you don't try to hide yourself or put on airs,
可愛いと思えてくるんだ。
I've started to realize that you're cute.
かわいいって。
And I can't honestly believe that this is the first time someone has called Yuki cute.
特にそういううろたえたりするところがな。
Especially when you're flustered like that.
うろたえますって。
Flustered?
デートだとか、かわいいとか。
Saying that it's a date and that I'm cute.
そんなこと先生から言われたら、誰だってドキドキしちゃいますって。
If you say things like that, anyone would get excited.
別に俺は誰にでも言うわけじゃないぞ。
I wouldn't really say it to just anyone.
お前だから言うんだ。
I'm saying it because it's you.
榊先生、またそんな嘘を。
Professor Sakaki, you're lying again like that.
嘘じゃないさ。
It's not a lie.
俺は教師だぞ。嘘をついてどうする？
I'm a teacher. What's the use of lying?
それに俺が教師を辞めないのは嘘じゃなかっただろ。
And besides, it wasn't a lie when I said I wasn't quitting being a teacher.
それはそうでしたけど。
Well, that's true.
そうだな。俺はお前に教師としてだけじゃない別の感情も持っている。
That's right. I have other feelings for you, not just as a teacher.
お前は俺にとって特別だ。
You're special to me.
特別。
Special.
お前はどうなんだ、朝比奈。
What about you, Asahina?
お前にとって俺はただの教師の一人か？
Am I just one of your teachers to you?
それは、特別です。他の先生とか友達とかとも違う。
Well, you're special. Different from the other teachers are my friends.
考えるだけですごいドキドキして胸が痛くて苦しくなっちゃうような。
Just thinking about it gets me really excited, and my chest hurts and it gets hard to breathe. So it's all the same kind of code for those feelings that the game has been using all along. Yuki is finally expressing it here.
きっと俺、榊先生が好きなんだと思います。
And so I'm sure I love you.
勉強を教えてもらってた時も、屋上で俺をなだめてくれた時も、
When you were tutoring me and when you calmed me on the roof.
その気持ちが俺の中にあったんだと思います。
I think I had those feelings inside me. So just as we've seen before with Yuki, you know, kind of thinking things out, I really didn't realize until he was prompted a bit here. So just typical Yuki.
そうか。
I see.
それなら俺ももっと特別な時間をお前と過ごしてもいい。
Then should I spend an even more special time with you?
特別な時間って？
Special time?
飯をおごってもらうだけなのと、俺と大人の時間を過ごすのとどっちがいい？
Just being treated to a meal, or spending adult time with me. Which would you like?
大人のって、それはやっぱり、あれが、それで、そういう感じの。
Adult? After all, you mean that and stuff like that? So Yuki knows what he's getting at.
どっちって言われると、
Even though you ask me to choose,
食事、大人の時間。
a meal or adult time.
悩む。
I can't decide.
おいおい、そんなに悩むことか。
Hey now, are you that conflicted?
榊先生、両方じゃダメですか？
Can't I have both?
両方？
Both.
はい、ご飯をおごってもらうのと大人の時間の両方。
Yeah, being treated to a meal and adult time. Both.
榊先生、
何を言い出すかと思えば、まったく欲張りな生徒会長様だ。
Think about what you're saying. You're so greedy, Mr. Student Council President.
欲張りですか？
I'm greedy?
ああ、食い気と同等なようじゃ、まだ大人の恋愛なんて早そうだな。
Yeah, if you put it on the same level as your appetite, maybe it's a bit too soon for an adult romance.
仕方がない。今日のところは俺がお前に合わせて両方叶えてやるよ。
It can't be helped. Just for today, I'll grant you both.
本当ですか？
Really?
じゃあ、俺を黙らせるためとかじゃなくて、榊先生の気持ちがわかるような。
Then, not just to shut me up, but so I can understand your feelings.
本当のキスがしたいです。
I want you to give me a real kiss. I'm getting a little demanding here.
ああ、いいぞ。
Yeah, okay.
お前を一発で落とせる大人のキスってのを試してみるか。
Do you want to try an adult kiss that will make you fall for me in one shot?
はい。
Yes.
まずはゆっくり目を閉じろ。
First, slowly close your eyes.
先生。
And that's the end. So, that's my favorite character route for many different reasons. I just love the extra story that we get, how it wraps up everything in the game quite neatly. A lot of times visual novels have stories that are left kind of open-ended a bit, or things that you have to interpret a little, but I think I'm very satisfied with the story of this game. And by playing Tomo, Joker, Sonoda, and now Sakaki, we know the full story of everything and why people have done things, where the motivations came from, you know, who's the person behind that, and who's the person behind it, and all these kind of layers of information that we get as we dig deeper into the story. And I love Yuki with Sakaki. I think they are an adorable couple. I think they'd be very, very cute together. And just how nicely the little bit of romance there was handled in a very, very sweet way. Could easily have been a little weird, but I think they did a very good job of writing it that way, making it very clear that everything's mutual and on a cute level rather than weird. Other things that I liked in here, not just the story of Sakaki, but we got a lot of extra little bits. That was fun scenes with all the boys as we went through and saw the little extra scenes with everybody that you could choose. There was the information about Now. We got that scene with Sakaki and Now, which I love very much. Now is one of my favorite characters in this entire game as well.
Gakuen Heaven 2 ダブルスクランブル
And even though Now only appears in a few scenes in the game, he has had a huge influence on everything that takes place in this game. So I like that we got a little bit more showing the relationship between him and Sakaki as well, because you would assume that it was adversarial because of basically their names and what their missions were. From Kazuki, Now was asked to protect the school and take care of it and uphold the ideals and everything, and Sakaki's job was to come in and steal his job and take over the school for the Sakaki group. So even though they could have been at odds, and they were in some ways, but you could also tell that they were very friendly, they got along very well, seemed to understand each other quite well, or at least Now understood Sakaki quite well. So yeah, fun character route, nice, neat, wraps everything up. It is recommended by Spray to play that one at the very end of the game because there are kind of minor spoilers in there for the other characters, but I don't think it's quite necessary as long as you make choices, especially when you get to that last choice about which student to speak to in the hallway. As long as you pick someone that you've already talked to or whose route you've already completed, it works out pretty well. And if you're going to play it that way, I would recommend talking to Sonoda because that fits in very nicely. You get the interaction between the cousins and it's nice. The next character that I will be playing is going to be Kuya. I've had the most requests for Kuya, and Kuya is actually my wife's favorite character also, so she wants to replay his route and kind of refresh her memory on his story, so we're going to continue with him next. The rest of the characters from here on out are not really story critical. Kuya has some interesting information though. The previous student council president, Hattori, features in his story a bit. And there's also a familiar face from the first game in his story that we'll get to talk to at one point. So that's something fun to look forward to. As always, thanks for watching everything. I hope you've enjoyed all the videos so far. So we've got 4 character routes down, 5 more to go. Might want to start thinking about if you want to ask me which character you want to do next. Or at least express an interest in the characters who are left. I think we're going to do Kuya next and then Arata because my wife has put in a vote for Arata, and really I haven't seen his character in a long time. He was the second character we played overall, and my memory is totally fuzzy on that now. But we also have Yagami, we have Chiba, and we have Takato, and they're all very interesting. So of those 3, if there's one that you would like to see first, please leave a comment to let me know, and I will definitely take that into account when deciding the future play order. So please come back again for more Gakuen Heaven 2, and I hope to see you next time!